do anything they ask you to do, almost always. If it's not against the law, you'll do it. So, when my 85-year-old grandmother called me one day, and she asked a special favor. She said, Gloria, I want to go visit Gene Autry. I finally want to meet him. And hopefully most of you know who Gene Autry is. But she had always loved Gene Autry. She was a member of the Sands Club. She named one of her sons Donald Gene, and she said, I can't wait much longer. I want to go to Palm Springs. I want you to go with me, and I want to meet Gene Autry. And I said, well, Grandma, we could go to Palm Springs, but I don't know if he lives at his hotel, and chances are you probably wouldn't meet him anyway. And she says, I don't care. I want to at least try. So I flew to Piggott, Arkansas. Now, the only thing Piggott, Arkansas is popular for is because Ernest Hemingway wrote a book there once. And anyway, we then went to Georgia, got on a plane, and flew to Los Angeles. And when we got to Los Angeles, we found that the flight to Palm Springs was canceled. And I had an 85-year-old woman with a walker, and this was before they took care of you when they canceled your flight. We were stuck in Palm Springs, in Los Angeles. But there was this very nice gentleman who came up to us. He said, I heard your grandmother talking about going to meet Gene Autry and going to Palm Springs, and I'm familiar with this area, and I need to go to Palm Springs too. If you will pay for half the rental car, I'll be happy to drop you off. So we said, great. So a few hours later, he dropped us off in Palm Springs at Gene Autry's hotel. And he said, and so my grandmother was so excited. She went up to everyone she met, and she said, I'm here to visit Gene Autry. I'm going to meet Gene Autry. And people were so nice. They said, well, Gene Autry really likes to meet his fans, but he's not often here, so don't be too disappointed. I can maybe give you an autographed picture. And she said, no, I don't want to meet Gene Autry. So that was Friday night, and Saturday we spent the whole day at the hotel, and we did go out and we saw some of the sights, Palm Springs, and that was very nice. Sunday morning, we were having breakfast in the dining room, and I was trying to think of some nice way of saying to my grandmother, well, maybe we can come back next year and try again. And I just couldn't get the courage to do that. And finally, the waitress came over and she said, hey, you might be in luck. And I said, really? She said, look over that table. She said, Donald O'Connor, old-time movie star, and his wife, and Mrs. Autry's over there, and they're having breakfast, and they're friends, and maybe Gene's going to show up, and you'll get a chance to see him. And I thought, oh, please, God, please. And about that time, I looked out the sliding glass doors, and there was a tall man in a white cowboy hat coming towards me. And I was so excited. And I watched. He came in the doors, and he walked over and sat down with his wife, and Donald O'Connor and his wife. And I said, Grandma, I've think that's Jean Autry over there. Would you like to go up and say hello? And she said, I've got to. So I straightened her walker out, and she grabbed hold of that walker. She moved over to Jean Autry, and she said, I traveled 3,000 miles. And Jean Autry was so nice to her. He talked probably 5 minutes. We took a picture of them together, and she just kind of came back to me, sat down, and just like, told yourself. And the only thing that she said about it on the way home was, you suppose that Mrs. Autry was jealous? And I said, no, Grandma, she's probably used to a lot of people to her husband. So when we got back to Pickett, Arkansas, my grandmother was a celebrity for white. She had that picture of her on the front page of the Pickett, Arkansas paper. And it said, local woman meets celebrity. And that was one time that I was so happy that I could help my family.